Now, when it comes to being chosen, everybody will have a name for you. Everybody's going to have a name for you. Okay? The guy has a big ego. That lady is a witch. They are very arrogant. They are false prophets. It's nothing new. So those are the things that you are going to get used to on your journey. It's nothing new. There's nothing they are saying you've not heard before. And many years ago, you used to take it personal. So you used to think that you had done something wrong, or maybe you could see that people used to understand you differently. They couldn't understand you the same way that they understand other people. Now, for you guys who are the Bible scholars, you read the Bible, so you heard that story of Jesus. Jesus was a chosen one. And he embodied a frequency that so many people could not understand. They didn't know what it is. He was saying things. They saw him healing people. They saw him performing these miracles. So many of them even called him a witch. He says he's the Son of God. Although we understand that out of those Bible history and everything, it was corrupted. So there's a lot of things that maybe was removed or was changed or whatever. But when you start to understand and you have been, some little bit of history, or let's say religion, it is very clear that Jesus was a chosen one. So he had people who couldn't understand him. They could stalk him, they could gangstalking, we're talking about the gangstalking. They would spy, they would find anything on him. You see, because that's the thing when people can't understand you. When people fail to understand you, they try to find something that is going to massage their ego. They can try to find something, anything, even if it's a little bit of it. Is why you guys are being gangstalked, each other ones. Is why you're being gangstalked. You're not selling drugs. The people that need to be followed, they will not be followed. They are going to start to follow you and gangstalk you. You don't sell drugs. You're not a prostitute. You never go to the bars. You don't drink alcohol. You're doing your own thing. You're in your own lane doing your own thing. And then you're going to have these people. In the Bible times, those are the guys they called the Pharisees. If I remember well, I think those are the Pharisees. So those used to be the narcissists of the time. Okay, it's what they don't mention in the Bible, because I think at the time that word wasn't there. That word didn't even exist. So those people was narcissists. The ones who was running those communities, certain... and those people, they became aware of somebody that they could barely understand. They couldn't even recognize his frequency. He was operating on a very different timeline, a timeline that wasn't very familiar to them. So one of the things you guys have to understand is that when you're doing something different, sometimes it's going to appear too good to be true. So a lot of those people in power is why you hear many times people say that they're being gangstalked by law enforcement. They are being gangstalked by this organization, gangstalked by this, and all the people that are gangstalking them, they're the people in power. Because you see, those people cannot accept something that is outside of anything they understand. For them, it's is scary, is intimidating, is threatening. And when you embody a certain frequency spiritually, you interrupt order, the order that people are used to, okay? It's like they see you as somebody that they cannot handle, they cannot understand, they cannot control. You're beyond their control. They try to put you in a box, you don't fit in the box. So a lot of times, like I've told you, they are going to start studying you. Very, very critically. They are going to start studying you, because you cannot tell me a person who is just living ordinary life, doing the normal things. You're going to start following a person running behind like monkeys. A person that has got no business with you. He doesn't owe you any money. He doesn't live in your house. He doesn't work in your company. You make it your business and you even invest all these resources just to follow up somebody, just because you want to try to understand him. You are finding, they are trying to find something. If we can hold on to this, if we can hold on to that, let us get all this information we need. They can try, they search you for years, they cannot find anything. They are struggling, they are very obsessed and desperate, and they still can't find anything on you. It is all about the frequency. That frequency is very intimidating and scary. So for the most of the people who have been used to the ordinary things, they see you as something very extraordinary. They will not come around and sit with you and ask you things, or what do you know, or what do you tell us this or this, because it all comes down to the ego. It's a very big blow to their ego for them to come around and start asking you things when they're the people that are running certain positions in power, higher than you, is what I'm trying to say, even sometimes richer than you. So they will not ask you, how do you do it? Or maybe you can give us some information, maybe we need to learn from you. They cannot come around and tell you this, but they are going to start. So that's something that I could call, in my own understanding, spiritual persecution. Spiritual persecution is what I believe you're being harassed because of your spiritual frequency. So a lot of times, chosen ones, you will realize that for the longest of time, you have gotten people very confused, and they couldn't understand what is happening with you. They also try to look the other way, you look the other way, they try to look this way, look this way. Whenever they think they have you all figured out, they realize they haven't even started, and they have to go back to the drawing board. So if you've seen, or if you heard the story of Jesus, that is the reason why he was persecuted and eventually crucified. It's not because he was a drug dealer or he was doing anything wrong. It's just because he was energetically on a different frequency that the society at the time couldn't understand. And it is what they didn't like. You see, because when people cannot understand you, they develop a certain hatred towards you. Some of them, you can even ask them, don't you like that guy? Why don't you like that man or woman? So they can always come up with something, a story. Is why you hear the smear campaign. You can now hear a lot of very different contradicting stories about you, because everybody thinks they have you figured out. So they have to find something on you that will what do they call it? It will validate what they feel about you. We are thinking that guy might be a witch. So you need to see what he's doing. Where is he going? What is it? They come around and start figuring you're trying to gangstalking so many different ways to make you very, very extremely tired. You see, when you're dealing with evil, you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of these people that are running the planet, none of them are evil. I'm not saying everybody in power is evil. I'm not saying everybody is evil, but out of those individuals who you see running positions, the ones that are meant to protect you, many of them are evil. A lot of them are covens. Many of them are witches. You know, secret societies. They do things behind the scenes and they come around and tell you lies. That's how it works. It's how it has always worked, because we're operating on this very low vibrational frequency, on this 3D matrix. That's the energy. It's the signature of the matrix. Very low vibrational energy. So when you're high vibrational, it means that you do not comply, because you're spiritually on a different timeline. So if you're a chosen one who is starting to hear these kind of names, they are calling you these names. You're hearing things in the corridors. They are trying to smear your name to everybody who likes you, maybe who follows you or stuff like that. It's just because there is people that cannot stand you. And it is only because you have something within you that is very intimidating, and for them is very irritating. Even if a lot of people may believe in things you do, the things you do, you know. There's a lot of people who have that kind of frequency, chosen ones. And you hear them sometimes they're saying, oh, you know, they have shadow ban, sometimes they have this going on their channels, sometimes they have these people throwing up these nasty comments on their channels. All those things are happening. So when you talk about being a chosen one, it is not something that is like a walk in the park. It is something that is not for everybody. Some people, they say they are chosen, oh, this one is a chosen one, that one is a chosen one. But the moment you understand who a real chosen one is, you will also realize that it's not business as usual, okay? The warfare that you're fighting, and you've always been fighting from day one, it has been a different type of warfare altogether. You will see them sometimes, they are setting you up with these bots. You know, the moment you detach from one bot, they are going to send another bot. Before you realize it, you're dealing with the same energy. Somebody who can be around you to distract you. Any way they can try to stop you. But secretly, you know those things, they do them secretly. If those things now people are talking. You know, a lot of times you see these channels, people are starting to say that this one is talking, then that is gangstalking, and whatever. They're trying to talk about these things, spiritual stuff. But many years ago, nobody was talking. Nobody knew even what it was. But spiritual persecution has always been here for centuries. The moment people identify you as different, you cannot walk like other people, you're not talking like other people, you're not doing things like other people. They want everybody to be the same. So when you're different, that is when they start to label you as a threat, you know. So you're labeling somebody as a threat. He doesn't even know how to use a gun. He has never been to war. And you're labeling him as a threat. That means that you are the threat. You yourself are the threat, because you now have a bigger threat that you need to deal with and you cannot understand. So that's why they label you as a threat. So that thing of people trying to label you and call you different names, it has always been happening, okay? In the Jesus time, they used to call him a false prophet. And some of them called him a witch, because there were some things he was doing that was extraordinary. And he had powers to move energy, okay? So the people at the time who couldn't understand him, they started persecuting him, and eventually they crucified him. But of course, we all understand what happened when they did that. They all paid the price. So chosen ones, people will always study like a book, is what I'm trying to say. People will always study like a book. They will always try to find something they can learn from you, maybe secretly. They don't come around and ask you things directly, but they can secretly try to see if there's something they can get. Is there anything they can learn? Is there anything they can steal from you? Is there, because a lot of people who are in even higher positions than you, they realize that there's something that is missing within them. Because you see, when you embody a frequency, it's that kind of spiritual frequency, high vibrational frequency, the people that are way better than you and higher than you, you make them feel useless. They start looking within themselves and they're thinking like, how come that I have everything? I'm driving all these Bentleys. I live in these huge mansions and everything. And how come this person, they've got something about them that you cannot understand. And sometimes they have a feeling that you are in some kind of a competition with them. You see, because when it comes to power, there's this 3D power and there's the 5D power. The 5D power is the powerful one, the spiritual power. When the spiritually powerful, these low vibrational individuals, they see you as a threat. So this whole thing of gangstalking and spiritual persecution is happening on a different level, okay? But regardless, chosen ones, you see, a lot of times you wasn't even aware that he was that powerful. You didn't know that. The people that you looked up to were the ones that were using your power because they already learned how to manipulate energy at some level. So they was actually using your power. You didn't know that you was powerful. That parent that you looked up to all the time, the dysfunctional parent, narcissistic parent, or whatever, they knew who you were. They knew who you were, but for them it was very important that you never realize your power. But secretly they knew that you had a lot of power. You had power, something that you couldn't understand. Okay? So I'm sure that many of you guys resonate with this video. Let us know in the comments. You always know I do love and appreciate your support. Please book a session if you want to. You can always donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will see you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.